You ever open a message so out of place that your stomach just knows something's wrong before your brain catches up? That's how this started. Saturday night, 11:47 p.m. I'm on Discord with my guys, headset on, halfway through a match. My phone buzzes. It's from Eli, my best friend, the guy I've known since freshman year, the dude who's eaten dinner at my mom's house 100 times. The message said, "She's wearing that silk robe again. I can't focus." At first, I thought he was joking, so I fired back, "Bro, wrong chat. Who's she?" No reply. 10 minutes, 30. Then I noticed he's suddenly offline. I remember laughing, like the nervous, shaky kind of laugh that tries to keep the floor from falling out onto you, but my gut already knew. I opened Instagram. My mom had just posted a story. Dim lighting, a glass of red wine, a blurry reflection in the mirror, that silk robe. Caption: "Some nights you just feel alive." Guess who liked it first? Eli. I don't even remember going to sleep. I kept staring at the screen like it was a trapdoor. I wanted it to be a coincidence so badly my teeth hurt. Next morning, I show up to brunch at my mom's. She's glowing like she just got back from a spa or a sin. Lipstick too bright for daylight. Phone face down on the table. "Eli couldn't make it?" I asked casually. She shrugs, smiling at her coffee. "He texted me already. Said he wasn't feeling up to it." He texted me already. Not you. Me. That's when the buzzing in my chest turned into something electric.
I told myself, drop it. I told myself, you're being paranoid. You've watched too many YouTube true crime stories. But paranoia doesn't feel like this. This felt personal. This felt deliberate. The next week, I swung by my mom's house to fix her printer, the usual tech son duties. She handed me her phone, told me to download that printer app again since she forgot her password. I told her no problem. She went upstairs. I was halfway through downloading the app when I accidentally swiped up and opened her gallery. And I saw recently deleted. Now, if you've used an iPhone, you know the recently deleted folder is a 30-day graveyard. You don't go in there unless you're trying to erase something on purpose. I didn't mean to look, but I did. God help me, I did. There were 7 photos. First one, blurry, low light, a close-up selfie. Lips, slightly parted. Second, her legs, crossed, that same robe. Third, mirror shot, same robe, but this time it's half open. I should have stopped, but the fourth one made me drop the phone. It wasn't her, it was him. Eli, in her bathroom, towel around his waist, smiling like he belonged there. The fifth photo was worse. Her hand on his chest, his hand on her thigh. I sat there frozen, not just uncomfortable, detached, like I was watching a version of reality that belonged to someone else. The last 2 photos were screenshots, texts, cropped, just bubbles. No names, but I recognized the words. He has no idea. I'll come over once he leaves. The timestamps matched nights I was literally out with Eli. My hands were shaking. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to confront. I just tapped recover all and airdropped the photos to myself like I was defusing a bomb. Then I deleted the printer app, smiled, said, "All good, Mom." She hugged me goodbye. Her perfume smelled like guilt and vanilla. And when I left, she whispered, "Tell Eli I said hi if you see him." I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on my bed with those 7 photos open like they were evidence in a case that no one but me would ever believe. Every time I saw Eli's face, smiling like he'd earned it, like he'd won, my chest tightened. My best friend. The dude who got me through my first breakup, who held my hair back when I drank too much tequila on my 21st, who once told my mom was too cool and kind of a MILF, not gonna lie. But I laughed it off back then because guys say stupid things. But now, he wasn't joking. He was waiting. I needed answers. But more than that,
I needed to see them squirm. So I sent the group text. Me, dinner at my place Thursday. Just us three. Been a minute, I'll cook. Mom, oh, love that. I'll bring wine. Eli, hell yes. Haven't seen you both in forever. Lying came surprisingly easy. Thursday night, I made pasta, candles, cheap wine. My hands were sweating so hard I almost dropped the plates. They showed up 5 minutes apart. Mom first, Eli second. She wore a black dress I knew I'd seen in one of the photos. He gave her a hug that lasted just a fraction too long. Neither of them looked at each other while I poured drinks like two teenagers trying not to blow their cover. It was almost cute how bad they were at hiding it. Almost. So I sat over dinner, twirling spaghetti, like nothing was wrong. You two have been hanging out lately, huh? They both paused, looked at me, then at each other, then back at me. Not really, Eli said too fast. Just randomly, bumping into each other here and there. Bumping into each other. Right, like her bed was the cereal aisle at Target. Crazy, I said, sipping my wine. I just always figured if someone was sleeping with my mom, they'd at least have the balls to tell me. Boom. Silence. Eli choked, literally coughed wine back into his glass. My mom's face turned pale, then red, then blank, like a fuse had blown. What? Eli started. What are you talking about? My mom stammered. I stood up, grabbed my phone, opened the photo, held it up. No words, just the photo of her hand on his chest. The expression on Eli's face broke something in me. Not guilt, fear. Not of me, of her. He didn't look betrayed. He looked trapped. My mom slowly stood up. Where did you get that? She whispered. Does it matter? How long has this been going on? How many times were you ever going to tell me, or was this some sick game? Eli opened his mouth, but she cut him off. It's not what you think. That classic line. The last phrase before everything truly goes to hell. I didn't expect Eli to cry. Not then. Not ever. But the moment I showed him the photo, and my mom turned into her coldest, blankest version, the version I'd only seen once or twice growing up, the one that could make a room drop 5 degrees, something cracked in him. And then he did it. He stood up, looked at me, and said, "We need to talk. Now." I thought he'd deny it, spin some fantasy, say it was just one time, but instead he grabbed my arm and pulled me into the hallway like we were in the third act of a horror movie, and he suddenly realized he wasn't the killer, just another idiot caught in the trap. He closed the door behind us and whispered, shaking, "She told me you knew." What? He said it wasn't a secret, that you were fine with it, that you two had some kind of understanding. My mouth dried out instantly. "She told me you knew," he repeated, like if he said it again, it would start to make sense. "She said you were messed up about your dad leaving and that it helped her cope and you supported it." Dude, I know. He ran a hand through his hair, staring at the floor. She said a lot of things, that it was just physical, that it helped her process pain, that she had no one else, that she even joked about it once, like it turned you on or something. I swear to God, man, I didn't believe her. But what the fuck are you talking about? I didn't believe her, he said again. But then she showed me messages. I felt my spine lock. What messages? He pulled out his phone, scrolled, and showed me a screenshot. It was a message from me, but not me. Same profile picture, same username. She looks good in that robe, doesn't she? Wouldn't blame you if something happened. I stared. That wasn't my text. That wasn't my number, but it looked like it came from me. She said it was from last year, that you gave permission, that you wanted it. She even called it our little shared secret. And then, just like that, it hit me. The burner phone.
Last year, I lost a cheap old Android I barely used, said it was stolen from my car, thought nothing of it, but it had photos, old texts, a few weird memes I'd sent to Eli years ago. Cloning that identity wouldn't be hard. My mom made a fake account, pretended to be me, groomed my best friend into sleeping with her. You didn't think it was weird? I asked him, stunned. I did, I asked, but she got in my head, man. She twisted everything. She kept saying you were emotionally repressed, that you liked watching people get close to her, that you needed it to feel something. I backed away like he was radioactive, not because I believed him, but because I suddenly believed all of it. Every late night drink she shared with Eli, every private laugh, every time she touched his shoulder just a second too long. And now I couldn't tell who the victim was. Me? Eli? Her? Or maybe it was all some kind of long play sick power trip, and we were just the audience. Then the door behind us creaked open. My mom stood there, calm, composed, smiling like this was a card game she was still winning. You boys done whispering? Like she hadn't just broken both our minds in half.
I didn't say another word to her. Not that night. Not ever, if I had my way. Eli left without finishing dinner. My mom sat back down and casually started clearing the plates, humming like we were done playing whatever little game she thought we were in. I locked myself in my room and waited for her to leave. She did, eventually. But she left the wine, half-full glass, still warm, like a signature. I couldn't stay there. I needed space, answers, air. I needed to be somewhere that didn't smell like her perfume and taste like betrayal. So I crashed at Jason's for the night. My coworker, casual friend, didn't ask questions, just handed me a blanket and a beer. The next morning, I went home, and that's when I noticed something was off. My door wasn't locked. I always lock my door, even when I forget groceries, even when I run to my car. But now it hung just slightly open. I pushed it, stepped inside, and stopped. My desk drawer was open. My dresser, too. And my closet? Half my clothes were pulled out like someone had gone through them and left in a hurry. Nothing stolen, no broken window, no forced entry. Just the subtle rearranging, enough to let me know I was here. I checked the bedroom. Under the bed, my fireproof box of documents was missing. Inside it, my passport, social security card, a USB I hadn't touched in 2 years, and the old journal I kept from high school, the one I told no one about. My heart started jackhammering. There were no fingerprints, no sign of a break-in, no message. But I knew she'd been here. I checked my phone, hands shaking, opened the Find My Device app I'd set up for that old burner phone last year, the one I thought was stolen. It pinged. Not dead, not gone. Location, Mom's house. Active, charging, turned on just an hour ago. She was still using it. Not only that, she was inside it. Inside my old texts, my photos, my contacts, my identity. I wanted to scream. Instead, I opened the laptop and checked my email. Unread. Subject line, you shouldn't have dug. No sender, no message body, just an attachment. A zip file labeled, before you were born. I stared at that file for 10 minutes, hands hovering over the trackpad like it might explode. Before you were born. What kind of horror movie tagline was that? But I clicked it. Of course I clicked it. The zip extracted 4 files. A scanned birth certificate, a photo, an audio recording, and a .txt file called Read This Last. The birth certificate came first, but it wasn't mine. It was for someone named Nathaniel Ward. Born March 19, 1999, same hospital I was born in, same time, same weight, different name. I checked the document twice. Mother's name, Julia Ward, my mom. Father, unknown. My name isn't Nathaniel. I've always been Mark Tobias. I pulled out my own birth certificate to compare. The hospital stamps matched. So did the date, time, and doctor's signature. But not the name. Not the baby, not even the file number. One of them was fake, and my hands were trembling on the one I thought was real. Next was the photo. It was scanned, old, faded. A hospital room, my mom in a gown, holding a baby, but the face was partially blurred like the scanner glitched. Next to her stood a man, not smiling, staring at the camera like he knew it was a lie. I'd never seen him before, but something about him felt familiar. His eyes, they looked like mine. I played the audio. Just static at first, then my mom's voice, younger. If anyone finds this, just know it was the only way. I had to give him a new name, a new life. You don't understand what he is. Then silence. Click. End. I opened the last file, read this last.txt. It read, there was another baby. The real Mark Tobias died during delivery. You were the backup. Nathaniel Ward. You. She switched the bracelets, lied to the nurses, buried the birth file. You don't legally exist. She stole you from someone else's life. And at the bottom, ask Eli about the safe under her bed. He's no longer than you think.
I didn't text Eli. I showed up at his door. He looked wrecked, pale, unshaven, and thinner than I remembered, like whatever had been hiding in the corners of our lives was finally taking a bite out of him. He didn't say anything at first. He just stepped aside, let me in, and locked the door behind me with the kind of slow finality that made my stomach turn. I told him I'd read the file. His whole body sagged, like he'd been holding on to a weight for years, and now finally someone else could carry part of it. He said she told him never to say anything, that if I ever found out, it would either break me or wake me up. He admitted he never really knew which one she meant. When I asked what was in the safe, he didn't answer right away. His eyes flicked to the wall behind me, like something might be listening. Eventually, he said he didn't know, only that it wasn't normal, that nothing about her, about me, had ever been. We drove to my mother's house in silence. It was late, past midnight. Her car was gone, the porch light off, curtains drawn. The house felt like it had already been abandoned or evacuated, as if she knew this night was coming. I used the spare key I'd hidden in high school. We slipped inside without speaking, moving upstairs through the quiet, dusty air until we reached her bedroom. The safe was exactly where the note said it would be, bolted to the floor beneath her bed, half covered by boxes of old photo albums and velvet-lined jewelry cases. I dropped to my knees and cleared the space. Eli handed me the combination from memory. He'd found it on a yellowing sticky note in her desk drawer years ago and never thought it was worth mentioning. I spun the dial. 38917. The lock clicked open with a dull, final clunk. Inside were three things. A small black flash drive, a necklace, delicate, almost antique, holding a thin glass vial filled with a dark, red liquid, and a sealed envelope labeled in neat, sharp handwriting, "For when he remembers." I opened the letter first. The writing was unmistakably hers, calm, measured, like she'd written it knowing one day I'd find it and wouldn't be able to look away. She wrote that I was never supposed to be Mark Tobias, that I wasn't born like other children, that I was made. She said they had tried to destroy the evidence, but she couldn't let them erase me, that I was alive, even if I wasn't supposed to be. There had been others before me, but they didn't survive. Only I did. But not all of me stayed asleep. I flipped to the next page, heart pounding. Her words turned colder. She said Eli had been part of it, that he wasn't supposed to sleep with her, only watch me, help monitor the blackouts, the regressions, the gaps. She wrote that he knew what I'd done, even if I didn't. When I looked up at Eli, he was already backing toward the door. His voice shook as he told me he didn't think any of it was real, that she had told me I sometimes slipped, that I became someone else, something else, and that he hadn't believed her. Not until the cabin. He said I blacked out the whole weekend. I claimed not to remember anything, that there had been 4 of us on that trip, and now I could only name 3. There were only 3 of us in the photo, and I couldn't remember the 4th. He mentioned the screaming, the blood, something about how the 4th person saw me when I changed, that we had tied them up, that I did something we had buried. He said I told him we couldn't let them find out. My own body felt distant, cold, like I was watching someone else hear it, like I wasn't real either. I plugged the flash drive into my laptop. 1 folder, recordings, dozens of files by date. I clicked one labeled "From the Cabin Trip." The audio began with static, Then my voice, hollow and distant, asking why someone was tied up. Eli's voice answered, saying they saw me, that I wasn't myself. I denied it, said I didn't remember. He said that was the problem. I skipped ahead. There were wet, sickening sounds, screaming, then nothing. Then my voice again, calm and level. We can't let them find him. Eli replied, "What are you?" I ripped the drive out. When I turned around, Eli was gone. The front door was open. I didn't chase him. I just stood there in my mother's bedroom, holding a vial of red liquid I didn't understand, reading a letter that claimed I was built, not born, and knowing now that the one person who might have told me the truth had vanished. And the worst part? The affair, the betrayal, wasn't about love. It wasn't about lust. She slept with him to keep him close, to control him, to keep her leverage in place. Eli was never my friend. He was my handler. And I wasn't her son. I was her secret, her experiment, her weapon. The last line of the letter burned into my brain like a brand. If you're reading this, it means it's already too late. You've started waking up again, just like last time.